That's right. We are live this February 10th, 2015, recording from Barcelona, Spain, and Las Vegas, USA. And it is Responsible Travel Week 2015, the hashtag RTWeek15. Thank you to our viewers. The Q&A app is enabled, so if you have questions, please feel free to ask. You can also post questions on our YouTube page and the Google Plus event page, and of course on Twitter using the hashtag RTWeek15. Chatting with Barbara from Ecuador has just left, but Amilcar, can you introduce yourself? And nice to meet you finally, face to face through a screen.
Yes, thank you, Ron. Hello, my name is Amilcar Vargas. I'm from Mexico, but I'm living in Barcelona, Spain. My bachelor's degree is on archaeology, but what I'm working more is in the World Heritage Sites management. So I have been here in Barcelona since 2012 for carrying out a first MA degree on cultural companies and institutions management, and now I'm doing the second MA on cultural heritage management and museology. So what I have been here in these 2.5 years is doing a research about the World Heritage Sites in Catalonia, which is the region where Barcelona is the capital. And in this region, there are 6 World Heritage Sites, and it was the first time that a person carried out a research on these very different places from the point of view of the Convention of the World Heritage, from 1972. And as we know, the World Heritage Sites are a list of properties which have an outstanding universal value, and each state must to agree with the Convention of the World Heritage, with the World Heritage Convention, and once they agree with the Convention, they must to propose places to get inscribed in the World Heritage List. Once the sites are inscribed, the states are the responsible of the management of the preservation of these outstanding universal values, of the authenticity and also of the integrity of these sites. It's not easy to get in the World Heritage List, as we know, and too many countries and too many states are interested to get more and more, to have more and more sites in that list. But to be in the list is a very huge responsibility in the pyramid of the protection of heritage. To be in the World Heritage List is the biggest, is the most highest point where a site, a heritage, cultural or natural site, could be in all the planet. So this huge responsibility includes to preserve, to protect, and also to communicate these outstanding universal values for the local people, for the foreign people, for the visitors, and to try to encourage local inhabitants to protect their own heritage. So, well, it's for an introduction. It has been very, very long. I apologize. So,
a lot of people are very new to the term of the World Heritage or World Heritage Sites, and I'm going to ask you this in terms of your observations of the UNESCO meetings. What I find most amazing is the fact that they have taken openness to an entirely new degree in the past few years, with all of the sessions being streamed live.
Yes, yes.
Are you seeing a greater openness within these structures?
Well, in UNESCO, I have been in the last session in Doha, and I saw I saw live in live, really in the place, this session. I have not seen this kind of broadcast in any other organization. Well, not of this size, of course. Maybe in university conferences or political speeches and so on. But I think that is very helpful, and it's very good to see this open access that UNESCO has of their meetings, which started not many years ago in 2012. So I think it's it's a good example of trying to be more clear and more open to the observance of the wide world.
Exactly. And UNESCO has been one of the great proponents of open educational resources, which is making more and more of the documents and the government-funded documents available. Um, that's a great resource. And there are more people outside the room than inside the room that are affected by the declarations or the consequences of World Heritage Sites. We are joined by a colleague of yours. I'm not sure if she can hear us or if we can hear her. Um, if you'd like to try that out. Barbara, are you there?
Yeah, but I guess that she can't talk.
Okay, we'll see if we can figure this out. But that's, again, one of the reasons that we have Responsible Travel Week. We don't have to have everything polished just yet. We hope that people figure out how to use this in the future. Um, and to make sure you have a working mic and all of the connections working. And if at any other time you'd like to have a reconvene and have another World Heritage chat, happy to do so. And Barbara, I'd love to chat about museums with you. Let me ask you this: when is World Heritage Day?
When?
Yes.
When is the World Heritage Day? Is if I remember well, is on November 26th, when the convention was accepted by the General Assembly. If I'm wrong, I apologize.
Let's see, when is that? World Heritage Day. Good thing we have a wiki. It's April 18th, World Heritage Day, aka the International Monuments and Sites Day, for all our
I
friends.
think, yes, it's in the ICOMOS site, in the ICOMOS Heritage Day, 18th of April. Well,
it's fun. You get to see the posters and the programs at Monte Alban in Oaxaca.
yes, I have been there many times.
Where are you actually from? Are you from Mexico City or elsewhere?
No, I'm from the city of Veracruz, in the coast of the Gulf of Mexico.
Un
Veracruz.
jarocho.
Yes, soy un jarocho, a very proud jarocho.
No, no, okay. Beautiful. Yeah, I loved Veracruz City and Jalapa, and went
Yeah,
went to oh, just such a beautiful state, beautiful people.
yes,
Great baseball. Uh,
yes, yes. We
and
play a
that
lot.
and that museum in Jalapa, that has to
Yeah,
be one of the world's finest.
yes, that museum is great. It's really, well, it's the second best museum on archaeology in all the country, which is very good.
It's very good, indeed. Um, one of the questions I have, Mexico has, certainly been at the forefront of creating such, just outstanding museums.
Yeah,
The question I have is, where is it going? I sense a certain sense of, how do I say it? Kind of somehow many of the museums are stale. It's how they've been designed 30 years ago is how they are now.
yeah,
Or the tours. Again, it's such an explosion of information and knowledge. Any first time visitor to the Museo
yeah,
de Antropología in Mexico City just kind of is,
yes,
shocked.
yes. You get shocked and you get intoxicated, and maybe you and most of people they just visit the first floor because the museum has two floors. Because in the second floor, as you know, is the ethnological information, which no many people has enough time to visit. So maybe I have been in that museum more than 10 times, but I have just go to the second floor maybe 2 or 3 of these 10 times. And visitors, most of them they don't know even that floor exists, which is a shame because it's a very interesting way to know all the cultural diversity that we have in Mexico.
Oh, indeed. And the question I ask in some of these museums is, to what degree are the local people or the people who are portrayed kind of included in the museum experience? To have to have Huichol people explain the Huichol um, symbology and culture, it would be such a much more incredible experience than just kind of going there and reading the placards. Or
Yeah, of
in Monte
course.
Alban, you have all of the, what fascinated me was you have all of these vendors who would, hike up the hill to Monte Alban and sell their replicas of
Yeah.
of the various ceramics. But
Mm.
they were vendors. They weren't your guides, and unless you saw them that way. And to me, there's an urgent need for kind of a rethinking of how these museums and archaeological sites in Mexico are presented, because you have the locals, you have the people,
Yeah.
but the tours are, more or less the way that, the tours were led 20 or 30 years ago, pointing at stone buildings and saying this is how the ancients lived, instead of saying, this is a living culture.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So, well, but yes, it's. I have been in last time in Mexico. I have been in summer for 6 weeks, which is a lot of time for a regular visit. And it was I was in the state of Chiapas because I'm doing now a research on the archaeological site of Palenque that I'm sure that you know. And in this site, what I'm trying to find is what has been the impact in the soil in the communities of the inscription of Palenque in the World Heritage List. So one of the things that I will find, that I will try to find, is what happened after the inscription in this list, and if the communities they're really engaged with this inscription, with these values, and if the local communities uh, have their quality of life has been improved, which is what I'm doing now.
Well, beautiful. That's an excellent question, and it'd be interesting. Are you looking are you looking at as well as at visitation figures, or how would you evaluate the engagement?
Well, I do interviews with the local stakeholders and with local inhabitants of the communities around the archaeological site. And what I ask is what they feel about their I don't know the word in English, but how much how much they feel linked with this heritage, how much they feel that this heritage site, the World Heritage Site, is part of their life, is part of is part of their history, and uh, and that's what and one indicator, a very good indicator, I guess, is the social organizations from local inhabitants to take part in the management of the site. So NGOs that, it's a next step, because if maybe you love or you like a place, but you just love it or you just like it, but you don't feel motivated enough to go beyond and go to or take part or to create an organization to protect that heritage, to communicate that heritage, or to take part in the management council of this site.
I hear you.
So yeah,
Well,
that's that.
again, we're learning how these things work, and again, travelers are changing as well. We are, many are seeking out that local connection, and some aren't, but some are. And the question is, to what degree do we have the ability to connect with the locals?
Yeah,
Again, visiting, visiting Palenque with people of Maya heritage, is a different experience than visiting it with your European tour guide.
yeah,
Uh,
of course, and not just to be guided by a local inhabitant or by a local Mayan people, but to know more about their culture, not just about their physical heritage, about their astronomy and about their traditions. So I think that local inhabitants, or sorry, I think that to visit a site like Palenque could be more rich if you know about the local culture and the local histories and the local inhabitants, and you can share a part of your visit, um, um, visiting their communities and um, buying their handcraft and to go to their communities. But you know, now the touristic model encourage people to visit more and more and more places, even if they don't do a very deep visit or a deeper visit. So they can visit maybe 10 Mayan sites, European in just 1 week, 10 Mayan sites, but they don't have enough time to visit the local Mayan houses or villages, because these villages that are not in the top 10 places to visit in the Mayan Peninsula, for example. So in the case of Palenque, what I find is that the visitors, they spend just 1 day in the site. So just 1 day in the city of Palenque, and they continue their visits to another cities in the state of Chiapas or another places in the Riviera Maya, etc., etc.
Well,
So
exactly. And the question is the model changing? And are there
it,
ways that we can be catalyst so that the model does change? I'm not expecting that everyone is going to go and want to do a homestay with a Maya family, or I'm not expecting everyone to go off the beaten path and find a small, locally run museum, operated by, maybe a hotel. But if we can present the options to people, those things develop. But it's either a vicious cycle or a virtuous one. Community museums in Mexico and Oaxaca are truly a tremendous resource. But in
yeah,
Oaxaca, there are times in which you spend more time tracking down the person with the key to the museum than you spend inside the museum. So we have to rethink about how this is working. Barbara, can
but
you hear us? Are you
Yeah,
there?
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me
yes,
because
we
now
can
I'm
hear you.
having problems with my microphone.
We hear you. We see you.
Sorry, what?
We hear you and we see you.
That's good. I was trying.
Can you introduce yourself?
Hello again. Yes, I'm Barbara Molina. I'm from Ecuador. I'm actually doing my master's degree with Amilcar. We are partners and colleagues. And well, I'm not related strictly with tourism, but I'm working on museum field, and I'm working the representation of Latin American culture in European museums. So at some point, this tourism topic is related. So that's
Of
why
course
I'm
it is.
here
Who visits the
trying to
museum?
learn. Sorry?
I said, of course it is. Who visits the museum? The visitors.
Yeah, I heard that question. Well, it's interesting. I think of what I know. Uh, that depends a lot on what the people want to show in the museum. Some of them, I think, I'm not quite sure because I'm not very familiar to the Mexican specific situation, but I think that this community is trying to support that museums in order to spread the knowledge and heritage between their own people mostly than tourism. So I'm not quite sure if the community museum in that situation it's that attractive for a tourist.
Well, it certainly is, and it can be more so if it's better organized. Um, and again, it's a question of getting the word out there and cultivating an interest. Where are you from in Ecuador?
I'm from Cuenca. It's
Uh,
also a cultural heritage place.
Certainly is. I learned my Spanish in Ecuador more than 20 years ago, um,
Really, where?
in Quito,
Quito. Okay.
and a country that's, as I like to say, about twice the size of Oaxaca. Very easy to get around and to see so many places. Um,
Mm-hmm.
well, we will be looking at museums this week. We will be looking at World Heritage this week. Responsible Travel Week, is our annual celebration of of the challenges that we have of making tourism that really benefits the locals and benefits the visitors. I'm not saying everyone is a responsible traveler, but I am saying that responsible travel is a great way of having a good time and being productive, being, a good member of society. And for locals, the question is, well, how you make sense out of it. And a lot of people feel themselves outside the tourism loop, but in fact, they are catering to people who visit from afar. My focus is often on is often on markets, and people in markets often don't see themselves as a tourist attraction, but they are. And
Yeah.
more than just an attraction, they're that cultural link, that interconnection between the local community and the visitor. What I find so interesting in Mexico is, talking to Europeans who, for the most part, don't have a palate, for eating corn or choclos or maize. And you have to, once you explain the food to them and explain the cultural significance, the meal becomes not just something of sustenance, but it literally feeds the soul. It lets you get a little bit of an insight into the heritage. Particularly in Mexico, where corn was first domesticated,
Yeah.
and it plays such a critical role. But you have to explain these things. So markets, museums, they play an important and critical role in creating that interaction between locals and visitors.
Well, I apologize because we will start the session here in the room, and it has been a pleasure, Ron. Barbara, we can continue in our meeting because Barbara is also attending our meeting.
Well, please
And
listen. You folks, thank you very much for your time. And if you'd like to join us later this week, you're more than welcome.
okay,
Also,
yes,
keep an eye on a shout out to our friends in Playa del Carmen. There's a course being led by Antonio Suarez, my good friend Fable from Balam, and his students are asking a lot of questions. And again, this is one of the big points for RT Week. So if you use the hashtag and connect,
yeah.
with other colleagues.
It has been a pleasure, Ron, and thank you very much for the opportunity to get linked with more people and to open these forums for discussions, which are very ritual for all of us, for me, for example. And I think that to interchange this different point of view, I think that could lead us to understand more what I'm doing and how can we improve what we do.
Perfect. Well, good to meet you both, and muchas gracias. Nos vemos. Estamos en contacto.
Nice to meet you too. Gracias a ustedes. Adiós.
Hasta luego.
Un placer. Well, as our friends drop out, I'm going to just do a little quick screen share here and just kind of review the technical aspects of Responsible Travel Week. And here we go into a screen share. Thank you very much, Google Plus. Responsible Travel Week takes place, there we are, February 9th to the 15th. You can see on the calendar. And again, if you click where it says there we go. If we click where it says Responsible Travel Week, we go to a wiki page, the RT Week 15 hub, and it has the information on registering for Responsible Travel Week. It has the names of our people on the Hangouts. Sally Grayson was supposed to participate today, but had some technical difficulties, so she will join us Friday. Various SlideShare presentations that have been prepared. The posters. Tomorrow is our big seminar in Cape Town, South Africa. And here is our calendar of events. And just to kind of highlight Tuesday, February 10th, today's challenge is being generous. So if you can, like this Hangout, share this Hangout. If you see tweets on Twitter, please, again, like them and retweet the tweets, on and on. On the right-hand column, it says elsewhere on the web, and this is where we are collecting relevant links. So if you are tweeting with the hashtag RTWeek15 and bring to our attention the blogs or presentations you're making, again, we're going to help you share that with a wider world. And again, we get out of a silo mentality and share information a little bit more broadly. And this is all here on the Planeta Wiki. Hope this is showing. Yes. So it's all on the wiki, and many thanks to the 30+ editors we have contributing to this and other pages on the wiki. Just going to select a couple of questions, comments from people. Thomas Dowson says, thank you very much for sharing. Thank you, Thomas. And Matthew Barker, hey, says, thank you for an interesting session. So thank you, Matthew. Matthew is the founder of the travel portal called Outbounding. So very good to hear from Matthew. If you have any questions, we are winding down the Hangout, but you're more than welcome to post it on our event pages on Facebook or Google+. You are more than invited to tweet me with any questions. I'll be getting back to Febo's class and some of his questions en Espanol about the Caribbean and biodiversity and tourism. You know, if you have compliments or criticisms of travel, please, bring them forth. You know, we do champion responsible travel. We do eschew irresponsible tourism. So, let us know what your concerns are, and again, focus on what you love about travel. If you have a museum, if you have a business, if you have a restaurant, and you'd like more people to know about it, let us know what you're doing, and we can help spread the word. I'm certainly making a list of places I'd like to visit in the future. A shout out to our friends in Cape Town. Tomorrow there's going to be the conference, a seminar at the Two Oceans Aquarium and Museum. And there's also the RT Unite meeting and again, I have to check out this place. Next trip to London, folks. Ye Old Cheshire Cheese pub on Fleet Street. So they're having their meeting in London at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So things are happening around the world. If you have a local event, let us know. Otherwise, please join us for tomorrow's Hangout. Again, same time. And we will continue the Hangouts throughout the month of February and throughout 2015 and look at the various aspects of the type of travel that connects us to place and to people. So with that, thank you to the viewers. Thank you for your questions. And for people in the future watching the YouTube video, again, thanks for sharing, liking, embedding, and we will continue this conversation. Anything else? Anything else? I say to no one in particular. Thank you, everybody, and we will be in contact. Estamos en contacto.